So Shay De Castro and Pleasurekraft, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Welcome to this Trade by Humans podcast.
Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure, man. When I asked Shay to come in and she said, we can bring Pleasurekraft. What do you think? And I was like, man, I was so excited to
Oh, hell
bring
no.
you guys over. So I guess congratulations, guys, on your latest release,
Thank
Shay De
you.
Castro on Mousetrap.
Thank you.
Feels
Feel my bass.
Feel My Bass. That's right. And then you have a few that you put on your own label. I think it was Moonlit. Yeah. That's what Wikipedia and ChatGPT said.
See, this is why you should never trust technology
Really?
fully.
I wanted to ask, but I'm trying to
All
don't
good.
ask too
All
many
good.
questions.
All good.
So
It's just the new
The Wirehead.
Monolith series that just came out.
right. You guys, I guess, what do you think is every time when you try that makes it harder for you guys, or it is just easier every other time when you make a new track? Like in your case, you did Octopus, Craftic,
Mhm.
yeah, and then Mousetrap.
hmm
So would you say is it harder every time, or
Like harder to sign a track or harder to produce?
I
a
guess to
track?
produce. Yeah, to produce.
I think it depends on a lot of factors, but I think in general, anything that you do multiple times will get easier. Especially as technology evolves, I think if you know how to use it, it definitely gets easier over time.
For sure.
But as you produce, I mean, you get to know yourself and the sounds that you like and everything like that, and how to select, I guess, the right sounds,
right.
which makes the process a lot easier.
Gotcha. I guess, and it's for the right label. So every track that you make has to sound as what the label you're trying to send it to get signed, or
I think
Well,
I
not really.
go about it the wrong, and he would definitely know better.
for sure.
I'm just happy to sit here and listen. Go ahead.
Okay. I actually never make anything aside. Actually, funny enough, for Craft Tech, I've never made something specifically for one label. I've just made something that I like, and then later on send it to the labels that I think might accept it. Like Factory 93, for example.
Right.
I remember sending them like 6 tracks, and I was like, I'm just gonna send 3 extras
Just in case.
just in case. And I was like, but they're never gonna even look at these ones, right? And then all 3 of those ones they liked. So
Nice.
it just
You
depends.
just never know what the owner of the label likes or something.
Yeah.
What will you? I guess for you, what are you looking at a track for someone to get signed? Like let's say she make you one and send it to you. What are you looking for? Is it been how you feeling at the time, or
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want. I can only really speak for Craft Tech,
Mhm.
but what I look for is a specific kind of sound design beyond just, it doesn't sound amateurish, which at this point, I think most people who are sending demos, you want to pass a certain quality bar. And generally, I don't get stuff that sounds bad technically.
right?
It's just, do the ideas emotionally resonate with me? And just because they don't resonate or grab me on an emotional level doesn't mean they might not grab someone else. But that's what makes Craft Tech Craft Tech, is that it's going through a bottleneck or a filter at which I'm the selector.
Right.
And I'm very, very picky, and I don't care about releasing all the time or having the label have a release every 2, 3, 4 weeks like a lot of labels do.
Right.
So I don't care about feeding the Beatport and Spotify beast, as
Right.
it were. I'm not saying that to sound arrogant or anything. It's just I luckily don't have that pressure, because part of the beauty of Craft Tech is, it's not 10 people working at Craft Tech like some big techno
other-
labels have
right.
entire marketing departments and this person and that person, and it's kind of like a one-person shop.
Okay.
And when it comes to graphic design and stuff like that, there's a couple people who I rely on who are part of the team, but pretty much Craft Tech is a one-stop shop. So I have the privilege of kind of being like, we have nothing to release this month because I didn't hear anything I liked enough, and there's no Pleasurekraft record that's close enough to being released. So yeah, for me, it's, techno music is, so much about drums, and, the thing that I miss a lot, which is what I try to incorporate into Pleasurekraft releases and Cosmic Techno, is that there's an emotional hook that's the beating heart of a record, and everything is built around that.
Right.
And so you hear stuff that, people know that at this point, and the stuff I get sent usually has a hook, but that doesn't mean that it's quite emotional enough for me, or it's kind of like an afterthought, well, this might sound good here, or it's kind of too close to something that already exists,
Right.
that just feels like
the
there's
same.
nothing novel here.
Right.
So what's the point of releasing this? It's been done before.
Right.
And yeah.
How many will you say that you get, I guess, on a daily basis?
Well, I don't check the
You don't
inbox
check the
daily,
inbox?
to be
Right.
honest. But
Right,
I
could
would say,
imagine.
I don't know, 100 tracks a month.
Okay,
Something like
damn.
that. Yeah.
Quite a few.
Yeah. That goes up and down. Like when the label has a release, suddenly you'll get an influx of new demos. Like, oh yeah, Craft Tech exists.
Right.
But like when you're not releasing all the time, there's so much constant information that all these other labels are releasing all the time.
Right.
So they're in people's,
Eyes.
face. So
Right.
it's right there, easy for them to send it and remind that, like, oh yeah, this label. Oh yeah, right. Craft Tech is a label too. So,
Right.
but I kind of like that. Whatever.
I mean, that's the, I guess, the business right now in the electronic music that I guess whoever makes more noise that gets more, I guess, more tracks sent out.
Yeah.
Just trying to get them signed. How do you first well, I guess what was your first feeling about selling a track? Do you say I'm just gonna send it and see what they say, or what would you
In general?
in general?
Yeah, for me, it's like...
Wow, dramatic pause.
For me, it's kind of like I always relate sending demos to like dating. And I feel like I used to be the kind of person that's like, oh my God, they haven't responded. Like, what did I do wrong? And
Like dating.
yeah, exactly. And so when I'm checking like SoundCloud to see if like there's been a play or whatever, and I'm like, oh, they only listened once, like they didn't like it, and but yeah, like in general, I just send them out, and at this point, I'm like, I've kind of emotionally detached myself a little bit more.
Right.
So I'm like, if this label wants it, that's
True.
great and awesome. But at the same time, if they don't, it's not my business why they didn't want it, because I like this track.
Right. When did you surpass that? I guess that part. It was like, man, I don't really care. Now I just play because I mean, obviously you play because you like, but
Be honest, Shay.
right. Did you just like, I'm just gonna send it and then I'm just gonna keep playing and I don't care what if they sign it or not. Just or there was a time where you feel, I guess, yeah, maybe when was a time that you felt like, damn, I'm getting famous now. When you start selling those tracks.
I don't know if I've ever felt that. Like, there's been a few times that I was recognized in public, and I remember the first time I was scared because I was like, whoa, like, who's asking? Like, they're like, are you Shay De Castro in a Starbucks? And I was like, what? And I was like,
Your coffee's ready.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, don't be so dramatic.
Right.
No, but I was kind of scared, and then the girls were like, ah, and I was like, this is so weird. But yeah, like I've never thought like, whoa, I'm famous. I don't think I ever would feel that way, honestly.
How about you, Kavit? When do you first felt the like, I'm getting famous? I'm like getting like everyone's start recognizing me.
I mean, I kind of made a conscious effort not to put my face on like artwork or in any videos or stuff like that from the very beginning.
Right.
So the people that would actually recognize me would only do so if it was like at a festival where I was performing or at a club or something like that. And if they did really recognize me when I'm not in the DJ booth, that means they're really fans who like sought me out and searched and what's this person look like. And
Right.
but just to give you a recent example, it's always such a joy to go to Juarez and play at Hard
That's
Pop.
where I'm from.
Okay, yeah.
Juarez.
So every time I play at Hard Pop,
Hard Pop, yes, for
and
sure.
it's not unique to me, but they have such a passionate fan base there that when the headliner walks in and they know the headliner well, you feel like a rock star. Like the whole crowd starts screaming, and it's very easy to see for the biggest artists how addictive that can become.
Right.
What a rush it can be, and how easily all that can go to your head. I mean, it's feeding the ego like just ambrosia. So,
and I never played, but I guess when I was doing the events, at one point, obviously we got so big that even Resident Advisor was doing articles. We had a Mix Mag, we got DJ Mag, and then Dallas Observer. Now, because we had this secret factory, and it was like a church after to finish the party, so we were supposed to clean up the whole thing at 8 a.m. And it was a church like 9 a.m. One of those.
Oh wow!
Like from over, like it was African people from American people.
Okay.
But not like Christian or the other ones. It was, I guess, some different one.
Okay.
So we'll clean up at 8 a.m. Make sure we got everything, and then set up the booth and everything. There's actually an article on Dallas Observer saying, make sure you bring your church clothes to stay after the secret factory.
The after.
So yeah, I guess at one point maybe I wasn't paying attention.
That's a hell of an after party, man.
Right.
Very sobering.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it got it really at one point to my head. I was like, I'm feeling like bringing all these names and everything. I remember when I brought, I guess first time to the States, they brought DeLuca, and I first time I Hate Models and Rebecca. So I got like these
Rebecca,
names that are like now so big now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, I was the first one, and everything throw, like walking like, like it was called like a rooster.
Rooster, yeah.
Rooster. So what are you guys, I hear you guys trying to go back to back. Is it this year, next year coming up? That's what I heard.
Yeah. Next year, yeah.
Trying
Trying to tolerate me.
No, trying to just sounds like it might end in failure, but no, yeah.
Oh yeah. Or I guess is that something that I guess already in place? Is that like a whole tour going and everything for like the whole year?
It's coming together because
actually,
I mean the plan is to do it around a couple tracks, so that's still in production, but that's the eventual goal is to do it semi-regularly as the result of working together on actual tracks. Yeah.
So how do you guys met at, I guess you guys met playing at like in a party festival? Or
No,
you guys
I
met
think
down here?
I think I DM'd her. I slid into her DMs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's true.
I think I did too when I was trying to book her, and then it didn't happen.
I think there was an EP that you had released. I can't remember what label now.
It was like the most random label. I don't remember even the name of the label.
Oh, there you go.
It was so random.
Well, it made an impression enough that I messaged you and said, hey, would you happen to have any stuff that you're working on that might fit Craft Tech? If so, and whenever that happens, I'd love to hear. And I think you messaged back something along the lines of, it's funny, actually, I have this one thing, but I just wasn't sure if I should send it yet because I'm not sure it's Craft Techy enough. And then you sent me that, and then I asked for a few changes, and that was Mapping the Heavens.
Nice. Mapping that, yeah, I was nervous. Like I said, it's like dating. I'm like, oh, should I DM this person or no? I was like, oh, should I send this to him? And I'm like, God, an idiot,
But at least you were solicited to send it. It wasn't like cold calling, sending a demo.
That's how I feel right now. And a few of the artists didn't. Well, actually, I got to reach out to a few, but I guess it's a new. Sorry about to interrupt. But I guess it's a new format, and then not all the artists want to, I guess, interact like on a podcast, Because
I usually don't want to. It's just really, Shay just brought this up. I was like, "You're gonna do it? Okay, yeah, fine. I'll join."
I actually kicked him in the ankle.
If you asked me just to come by myself, I would have said no, honestly.
Right. Yeah. Is it I guess maybe a reason why do you think, or for as an artist, you think, or? Well, I guess in your case, you just maybe just don't like to be on the camera or with the microphone. I guess
I hate it.
Because even too, I mean, not even your artwork, you didn't want your face on it then. But some other ones, I think it's kind of like the new thing. I guess I noticed that now more. I saw DVS a lot. DVS one, yeah, doing a lot, and then,
he's kind of become like
very open.
No one voted for him, but he's the spokesperson for all the underground. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's just like you see him everywhere, and it might just be because the way my algorithm is, I see him everywhere.
No, I literally saw him today.
I mean, it's nice that to have someone who's eloquent speak on these topics, and I don't agree with him on everything, but that's the beauty of living.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to always.
Yeah. But I do think he makes a lot of great points that, I think are spot on.
Yeah, on this one that he did on AD, is that what the one you're talking about? That was a good interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go back to, I forgot what was the
Oh,
question.
sorry. Something, I think it was
About the DMs.
Yeah. So anyway, I sent that one, and it was one of those things where it's like, I'm just gonna send it, and if he hates it, like whatever. At least he asked me for it.
That's right.
And
remember, you asked for this thing you didn't like.
So outside of music, what do you guys relate on to?
We're in chess club together.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, really?
didn't even have
I
to
wish.
say something.
I wish.
Damn it.
I was like, damn, I related now.
Food.
Food. I think
Soup.
when I found out that she was into writing, like
Yeah, that's
not music, but
Like actually writing, like
Yeah.
books kind of thing?
yeah.
Really?
And I also I'm into that, so we kind of have a passion for
That's a quick one,
writing,
yeah.
and I feel like that's a general population. It's not that common, but especially in dance music, it's not that common. So
Sure.
Yeah.
it was kind of like, oh, really? And like then, she's into all this romantic poetry. I'm into romantic poetry. It's like, all right.
It was really weird.
Who are you, Shay?
I
What's
know,
going on
right?
here?
Yeah, it's because, he
I mean-
thought I was someone else based on social media.
By the way, I don't mean romantic poetry as in like, I'm talking about a very specific group of poets, not like any kind of poetry that's about romance.
Right.
Hopefully that
Right,
comes
right.
across.
I didn't even think of that. But yeah. It's good to clarify.
It's hard to find one that is similar to you in this like scene. They have the same, I guess, things that you like she's writing and this sort of like, I guess, poetry or whatever.
Love of
Yeah.
SpongeBob. That's another one.
Love of SpongeBob. Deep love of SpongeBob.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
We
it's-
almost wore our matching SpongeBob hoodies
I did
today,
bring
but
it.
I
Really?
thought,
Yeah, should've.
any cool factor we had would have just gone completely out the door with the chin
Would've-
stroking
right.
techno
or
fans.
would it have elevated us to the point where it's like, I
Yeah.
don't give a shit to this level,
That's right.
Yeah.
See, you should have talked me into it. It's your fault.
I do have mine in the car.
You do?
I do have it. So
So it was a
just
serious
saying-
thing.
Yeah,
I was serious.
Mine is at home. I'm sorry.
So that's your favorite cartoon? I guess.
SpongeBob?
How about yours? The same?
Yeah, I would say the old SpongeBob, like the first 10
Is
years.
it older now?
Because they have new. It's still running.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in years. I just remember loving the movie and.
Oh yeah, the SpongeBob with Patrick.
I never
and
thought
his,
we'd talk about this much in an interview.
yeah, yeah. We didn't wear the hoodies, so at least we're talking about it.
But speaking of cartoons, only because I've just been watching the new season. Have you been watching Arcane?
No, but what's so funny? This girl told me yesterday to watch it. She's like, I feel like you would like it.
It's unreal. I mean, I don't watch much anime.
Right.
Me neither.
But wow, it's phenomenal. It's just another level that is just like in its own category. But yeah.
Really?
anyway,
Okay,
that's
I'll
all.
watch it.
The only anime that I had watched, I think it was. I forgot what the name was. I actually no.
They're always such like random names.
No, it was because I really watched it in Spanish. It was Supercampeones. They get this guy that plays soccer.
Supercampeones. Yeah. I've
I
actually
forgot what
seen that too.
Yeah, that one, and then Zodiac.
Yes, me too. Also.
Okay, I don't know either.
You remember
of
those?
so.
Those like super old ones, and I guess Goku. Like everyone.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Goku.
That was
yeah,
a good
for
one.
Sure.
But
Wait, is Pokemon considered
Anime?
anime? Anyway, we can move on from that.
Just cut this whole section,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
So, do you guys, since you guys been, I guess, talking a lot more often and everything, and the music and everything, I'm sure you guys talk more and saying like, is one of you like memes? What's something that you guys
Oh my god.
send across?
I think
Imagine we had to
literally,
like
yes.
show our DMs.
I think literally like 4 days ago, when you go to anything on Instagram and then you click like, send to somebody and it brings up the option of people to send
GIF?
to.
Oh yeah.
They're listed in order of how often you
often you
send.
send
And
out, right.
you are now number one.
Yeah, mine too.
So yeah, there's some meme sharing.
I'm
for
glad.
Sure.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one, like the only one who brought my hoodie today.
What's a funny one that you guys send often?
I mean, you might as well check at this
I was
point.
like, let me take a look. God, it could be anything, really.
I feel like we used to send a lot of like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, that's
memes,
another
'cause
thing we
both-
really.
Yeah, that was one thing we really clicked on early because most people love Breaking Bad, and we were both like, "Oh my god, Better Call Saul is so good."
I used the Simpson one, Homer that goes behind like the bushes.
Oh yeah, in the
kind of thing.
bushes.
Right,
the-
I use that one a lot.
That
for
one's
sure.
a good
Yeah.
one. That's a classic. The ones you just sent me are really fun. These ones actually really like. Oops,
This has
now
got to
I'm-
be like riveting for people watching. Like two DJs sitting on their phones looking at like
This is-
memes they
Memes.
sent each other. Like what are we even
I'm sure
doing here?
they like to
DJ
see
life.
they like to see the what's called, I guess, the bright side of you guys, because you guys see it more.
The right side of us. Well, we are. Oh, I'm not wearing black today. Well, aside from my pants, I was gonna say. Should I share that one? I'm kidding.
I mean, it's so good, but
Oh,
you
I
know,
just screenshot it. I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, it's deep, and
It is
it might not be
So professional.
Entirely.
well received by the entire viewing audience,
Yeah.
since it's kind of a
A little controversial.
yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Well,
It's
Oh,
a
it's
religious
not
joke.
politics.
We have-
It's a
yeah.
religious joke.
we
Oh,
have
really?
a very
Oh,
similar sense of humor,
absolutely,
I
yeah.
feel. So
Me too. Yeah, some people, I guess, over the years, they started getting more sensitive about anything
everything.
religious, like, or like politics. Yeah, because I work for AT&T. I work as in the corporate.
Sorry.
Oh my god, yeah. You should talk about that one
Wait.
after. But there's like highbrow humor. here.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Where the Thomas Edison, right?
Right.
Where the fucking hell are all these moths coming from? You know,
'Cause he made
the light bulb.
Because it made the light bulb.
Yeah. Some highbrow humor there.
Yeah, honestly, most of the stuff we send is not that intelligent.
Really?
It's like
You,
Well, that's not supposed to be intelligent. It's
Yeah.
a meme. It's supposed to be
It's
real
funny.
funny and
that's
then
true.
dark humor sometimes.
I feel like also a lot of the things we send each other right now are just food.
that's true. That's the algorithm's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I guess whatever you see, if it's him, that's what I heard. That whatever
Yeah.
you see, start feeding him, and then whatever he says, start
If
feeding
we
Yeah,
share it with
that's-
each other, for sure.
him. Right.
It's weird how that
It
works.
knows food addicts when it stumbles on.
Exactly. It's like commercials aren't even needed anymore. They just have the algorithm.
Right. I guess going back to the music, what's maybe 3 to 5 tracks, maybe 3 tracks that you guys have to play on each set? Or you have something like that or not really? Something
Like-
that you say, I gotta play this track on every time I play this set, or not really?
I wouldn't say there's any one track that unless it's like a track
Like
that I just released or
right.
something, yeah, where I have to play it.
Are you talking about like your own tracks or like any tracks?
Any track.
tracks.
Oh, any tracks. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it's like it just depends on the vibe of the people. And
You mean to tell me there's no Pleasurekraft tracks you
I
play
don't
in every
actually
set? It's
can't stand
over.
his music.
It's all over.
He was like the other day. He said something like, "Oh, you didn't post any stories of my track." Obviously joking, right?
Right.
And I'm like, "Are
No,
you
it's because
kidding me?"
you
It's
always
like
say,
half.
"Oh man, I love playing this track." I'm like, I've never seen you post ever playing a Pleasurekraft track
That's why
live.
now
So it's like our
every
running
time
joke
I play
now.
one of his tracks now, I'm like, I look around me, I'm like, "Can you please record this?" So I
Right.
can show him.
That's something that I probably will do, even if it's like inside joke.
Yeah.
It's like it's still behind in your head.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Maybe he's being serious.
I know,
I'm not
right?
Sure.
There's a little hint of truth in every joke.
Yeah, that's what they
So-
say.
That's
you
what
know?
they say. Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead. I interrupted you, I think.
No. Any tracks I play all the time. I don't know about every single set, but there are tracks where, like, if I opened up my tractor history,
Mm-hmm.
one would be a track by Aatrox called 1965.
Oh yeah.
And
Aatrox,
it
too.
came out maybe 2017. And the reason why it especially bothers me is because he sent me this track as a demo, and I don't know what was happening at the time, but I didn't give it the attention it deserved.
Right.
And I wrote him back. I was like, yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't really have much of a hook,
Right.
which is the first thing I listened for. And I remember writing back saying, yeah, I mean, it's cool, but it's not quite for me in Craft Tech. And stylistically, it's not really a Craft Tech track.
Right.
I went to like Marc Antonio's label now.
Yeah, so then I end up getting a promo 3 months later on Marc Antonio's label. What's the label called?
I know, right? I'm like, I can only imagine the artwork. Yeah.
Anyways, it comes out, and I forgot about the demo, and I hit play, and I hear the song, and now my brain is a different context. I don't know, maybe I ate more recently, and life is a bit more peaceful, and now I have all this attention. I'm listening to this promo and be like, dude, what the? You didn't send me this track? Like, I would have signed this.
Right.
And like he like screenshots the email I sent him from 3 months earlier. And literally from that day, I can count on my two hands since 2017 how many gigs I have not played it at.
Dang.
Yeah. So, and
that's a big props for him.
It's just such a great track. Aatrox has actually a couple tracks that he has another track that was a collab with Mark D from Colombia called Adrift.
Uh-huh.
I play this track all the time. There's at least one Brennan Gray track always in my sets. Kind of changes which one it is, but there's always one by him. I would say those are kind of the highlights.
So, I guess for people who starting DJing and then sends out a track and it gets signed, how does that work? Do they get paid? Do they get contract, or is your track now? And then how does that work?
You mean when an artist sends a track to a label?
Right.
Yeah, usually most labels do 50-50 royalty splits.
Okay.
Once all the costs have been recouped by the label. So
after mastering,
promo, if there's anti-piracy stuff, which I don't think any label really does anymore.
Right.
If they're charging you for anti-piracy, I would say send me the receipt because nobody does this anymore. With the model of, music sales being what it is and streaming being what it is, it's kind of like you just want to be in people's mind regardless of how you got there. So, yeah, and then usually labels are 50-50 splits, but there are labels which I could throw under the bus that are well below that, and the amount of money that they charge for things that, artwork, video,
right.
Marketing, whatever that means, and you never get any transparent accounting of it, and the prices are like, you're kidding, right? Like, there's no way it costs that much. So, sometimes, and sometimes labels like that will also have a thing in the contract that says, we have right of first refusal for your first 3, 5, 6 tracks, which means you can't send your tracks to any other label unless this label first passes on them. So, this is like old school record label stuff. This is, stuff like why, Prince changed his name. Like, it's that same philosophy.
Right.
And it's just like, there's so much choice nowadays. I mean, I get it on the one hand because you have a lot of smaller labels that put the work in to grow artists. And then as soon as the artist is on some bigger label's radar, they swoop in. It's like, thanks for doing all the hard work. Yeah, we'll release this stuff now. And, I get that. But at the same time, I think there's a happy medium. And I think some labels take advantage of not the ignorance necessarily, but just the lack of knowledge about how this stuff works of up-and-coming producers. So
that's crazy that you get locked in, I guess, for a few tracks, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you can send it.
It's not all certainly not all the time, but there are labels today that still practice that in the techno charts. Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. What are your thoughts on that? As an upcoming artist,
I feel like I have conflicting thoughts on that because I do get like what Kaveh said about doing all the hard work and everything, and it's not like you can just have a contract like you would with a manager or something, I mean, I guess you could. So I think that's like the next closest thing to having something where it's like you have to work with me for the next X amount of years. But at the same time, it's like, obviously you want to keep growing. And then you see the same artist releasing on the same label over and over and over again. And you're like, oh, so maybe they couldn't. Not that I think like this, but it's like maybe subconsciously you think, oh, they couldn't get on a bigger label, so they're just going back and back and back to
That's
the
what
same.
I think. Not as a DJ, that I'm seeing like, what keeps releasing? I mean, this other artists would, but I guess it's something that's under like some type of contract that you cannot send it anybody anywhere else.
Maybe.
Maybe,
I would.
yeah.
That wouldn't be my first assumption, but especially because I find that usually the labels that have that kind of clause are kind of middle or bigger labels. So it won't necessarily be like the techno label that's very small. Yeah.
I guess this question would be more for Kavit.
Yeah, Senior Pleasure.
Yeah, Senior Pleasure. I guess what some of the cities that you like to play a lot. Which one? What some of the cities that you like to play or venues? I'm sure you get this asked a lot, but just
Yeah, I mean, I love playing in LA. I mean, I gotta say that because I'm here now. But I really do. I do
Choose
think,
wisely.
yeah. Juarez is amazing. Mexico City, Guadalajara, Bogota, Paris, Vienna, Austria. Fabric in London is incredible. Egg in London is really great. I love playing Johannesburg, which I'm actually playing there New Year's Eve this year, and it's really always a great time there. Where else? I'm sure there's a lot. Like Sisyphos in Berlin is great.
stole mine.
Obviously, sorry.
Okay.
But you can add it too.
I didn't get a chance to see you last time you played there.
Yeah, well, next time we'll be back to back, hopefully.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Can
really?
you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be so
that'd
dope.
be crazy.
What do you mean imagine? Let's just do it.
Okay, yeah, that's
Right.
true. You can do it.
How about you, Shay? I guess you haven't. I mean, you've been playing a lot of different venues and cities now. What do you think so far?
I mean, you know what's funny is, I mean, most of my gigs, if I were to like summarize all of them, have been in Mexico. And
In
it's
Mexico?
always like, yeah,
Really?
yeah. And
No
it's
way.
like I played in, I think, 29 of the 32 states there. And
Wow.
yeah, and a lot of these events were in like pueblitos. And I remember this one time it was in Ocotlan, Jalisco. It's like an hour outside Guadalajara.
Right.
And I was like, as we're passing by all these cows, literally just endless farm, I was like, oh my God, no one is going to come here. Like this increasing feeling of dread.
Yeah.
And then we arrived to the venue and
Rammed.
it's it's a guy's house. And I'm like, dude, is this going to be a house party? Because I'm kind of down. But like, what the hell, what the hell, you know?
Because I'm kind of down, but I'm like, I would much rather do in a venue.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, okay, what kind of venue is this? Oh, it's this guy's house. And so we pull up in the front of the house and there's like nothing. Like you do see like a flashing light and I'm like, oh God, like what is this? And then you pull around to the back of the house and it's like this massive property with a pond, people like smoking and drinking around the pond, hanging out, a huge parking lot and it's filled with cars. And I was like, okay, this is kind of dope. And then I go inside and this guy has completely renovated his house. Like he has a little bedroom that he's made. And his bed is right behind the DJ booth. And the DJ booth is like where the kitchen was, I'm assuming. And the rest of the house is just like,
party venue.
yeah, but like a proper venue, like lights on the ceiling.
No
He had
way.
elevated platforms. And I remember when in the middle of my set, I look up and on one of the platforms is like this grandma. Like this,
wow.
like it was packed and people of every age. Like it was amazing. With who I assume was her grandson, like dancing on the platform and everything. And I was like, "What? This is so crazy." So anyway, most of my favorite places to play are actually places like that where you just don't expect it. But aside from that, like Sisyphos in Berlin was amazing also.
What was your feeling when you, I guess, 'cause when you went on a tour to Europe, right?
A little German one.
Really? How was that feeling?
You enjoyed the Cologne gig too, no?
Yeah. That was I
That's
had like
crazy.
5 in Germany. It was kind of weird, random, but it was really cool. I mean, like the Germans definitely know how to party in a different way than Mexicans, though. I will say,
Really?
like,
Was
you
it
know,
different?
Mexicans, like it's just the Mexican vibe is, o sea, como que no, como Mexico no hay dos, you know, and like when you finish playing in Mexico, it's like. Okay, it's light outside, but it's like 11 a.m. and we could go get tacos right now. And, you know, like everyone is just like, you know, keeps going. No one feels bad. Like no one is like hanging out in the corner being weird. Like everyone is just like having a good vibe, you know? And in Germany, I did see a couple things where I was like, whoa, like this dude needs to chill out a little bit, you know? Because like people just go really hard. And I think Mexicans, whatever it is, in the water, I don't know.
And then chill.
Yeah, like everyone seems really chill, but consistently, you know?
Right.
Like a really nice positive vibe. And that really translates to, okay, I actually want to stay longer. Or, you know, like I would play 5-6 hour sets in Mexico all the time.
Dang.
And you don't even feel tired because it's like the energy is just so good.
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time when I brought Matador, when I had the Techno bunker, we pull up and it was just it was really like an office, but on the back end it was like a garage, like a huge garage, and I converted into like a, you know, put lights and big sound. We have I think what was a DV, I don't remember what the sound name was. It was kind of the same one the Harp Pop had at one point. No, not Void. It was another one. I forgot what the name was. So anyways, we brought it in and he was like, "You sure it's people here, mate?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, it's parking us at the back." And then once you walk in, you'll see, because you walk in and it's kind of like this quiet. And boy, you hear the music, boom, boom, right? And he opens the back door to the garage, full of people and everything. Right. Yeah, he was like, whoa.
And then he breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah, exactly. God, I know. I hate that feeling.
As a DJ, when you, I guess me as a promoter, obviously you want to have the business venue, everything in place, but it's never really. I mean, sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't happen. But as a DJ, what's your feeling when you walk in? I was like, oh, shoot, like I have to play, or
like when there's not a lot of people?
Right.
I mean, obviously it would be nice.
That never happens in my gigs.
Like, sorry, I've heard of things like that, but I've never.
Yeah.
I think also, as I played so often in Mexico and like little towns where it was small venues in general, you just never know. And it was such a hit or miss at the time. Like techno at that time was really growing in Mexico a lot. So it's like you never knew. And regardless, obviously it would be nicer to have a packed venue. But the energy a lot of times when there are very few people was so much better because I feel like you can connect with them better, you know? And then afterwards you can talk to them and everything. So I don't know. It's not necessarily a downer. It's like how into the music are the people that are there.
Right.
Because you can have a packed room or a packed festival stage.
Never connect.
But if the people, if they're just kind of deer in the headlights to what you're playing, then it's like, wow, I'd rather have 10 people that are dancing than 1,000 that are just like, what
Zombies.
is this I'm listening to?
Right. Yeah. And then you feel like, dude, what am I doing?
Yeah. Either way, you're like, make me another drink, please.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Or like if they just have their phones and they're just standing with their phones recording you. And I'm like, I hope that they're recording because they like it. I can't tell. But they're not dancing. But
I guess we can. That question I had to erase it, but I guess what are you guys?
Why'd you erase it?
About the phones?
Why'd you erase a question?
I'm not sure because it may be controversial a little bit on the.
I
mean,
see.
like,
we've talked about SpongeBob here. We can handle
right,
fun.
Right. No, I mean, we can go to that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to talk to about it. I guess I'm one of the guys that I guess I went to Adriatic X party the other day, and then we went and then came back to the hotel, and I asked my buddy, "Hey man, you have?" And he's like, "Bro, I like 5 pictures," and I'm like, I think I had like 2 videos and like 3 pictures. So I was like, well, that's good. We had a good time. So we tried to put it on Instagram, but obviously we didn't have nothing. We didn't take videos, record, really take pictures or anything. So
then it didn't happen.
Right? No, but I'm almost against that thing because how many times do you really go back and then look at the video?
It. That's so true. But I am that person. It's like, oh, a 20-minute video of this concert or this party I was at. I'm never gonna watch this again.
Really?
Know? But maybe just in case.
Right. So you like that feeling of people?
I like if I'm seeing someone that I really like, an artist that I really like, I do take a couple videos or photos. I'm really bad at photography, but I like it. So I like even photos better because it's not necessarily like the audio is probably going to sound terrible on my phone regardless. But just having like a little memento is nice. But if someone is on their phone like the entire time.
But what about when you're performing and the phones are in the audience?
Yeah, I'm not. It's it is nice to, like, after your show, like, get on Instagram and you're like, oh, like,
See all these
people were
videos.
taking these videos and stuff like that. I guess it's nice in moderation just to have an archive of, everything that you've done. Or I guess you could hire a videographer.
It's like a
but
diary written by others.
yeah, wow, that's
Visual
so beautiful. There's the start of a poem. But sorry. Anyway, yeah, like I don't mind it. However, like with the flash, that can get annoying. And then if it's like the full front row just has their cameras out, I feel like that just ruins the vibe for everyone. Just because they're not going to be dancing and recording video at the same time.
Right.
It just kind of detaches you from the experience a little bit, living it behind a screen.
Right.
Like you're immersed in all these lasers and hopefully amazing music.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And like you should be, well, I shouldn't say should.
Enjoying.
Hopefully you would be enjoying it with others around you.
Right.
And I think that as soon as you pull your phone out, you're removing yourself. in a way.
Right. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree with that. I mean, this genie's out of the bottle, and there's no going back
Okay,
to
Christina.
pre-mobile, smartphones with this kind of capability. On the one hand, from an artist perspective, especially one that doesn't have a full-time tour manager or photographer on tour with them to get footage.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice because you can promote your performance for other promoters to see, for other people to see. So they're like, oh, yeah, man, would love to see this artist here. Like, look at this video. And there's something that somebody
It's really
can see.
hyping
Oh,
up.
yeah, that does look good. Yeah, maybe we'll bring that artist, So
Right.
it does become a promotional tool. But at the same time, I don't know if everybody, as a performer, like as somebody who is old enough to have gone out before those days,
Right.
like there is something lost when you, as Shay already said, when you take that phone out, you remove yourself from that moment. Yeah, and it's yeah, I'm not judgy about it.
Right.
Like this was one of the things that I feel like is really hot on social media right now is like huge underground DJs bad mouthing. But somebody like Solomon, like, dude,
Yeah.
you still get a lot of gigs because of all that footage.
In the
Exactly.
past,
You know,
right.
so I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I respect him as an artist and what he's done over decades.
Right.
But yeah, I do also wish that everyone put their phones down, but that's just not who Homo sapiens are anymore.
Right.
you
It's
know?
just the era now, like
Yeah.
2024. Back in the day, we didn't have that many phones,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I guess they became more affordable too.
Yeah,
so
of
everyone
course.
has a phone now,
Yeah.
That's true.
and yeah, I guess as an artist, I'm not an artist, but I guess as an artist, then you're like, man, I don't want that many phones, but at the same time, it helped me to get to grow as an
That's
audience, and then sometimes
Yeah, like these things are not bad.
right.
There's a negative. No, it's like every other tool. It's
It's a gray
both
area.
sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
And-
great area for sure.
I think that as there are venues and events that implement the no phones rule, it's like if you want an event like that, you want an experience like that, that's an option.
Yeah,
Right.
and
You know?
I do think that is really cool. Like,
Yeah,
6
yeah.
a.m. here does that.
Right.
A lot of clubs in Europe have a no phone policy, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And being a performer at events like that is really cool because you really do see people not think about broadcasting their fun and exciting experiences for strangers who are not even under this roof.
Right.
And yeah, it's great, and I do love that. But I also I get it. Why, we're just apes that love to broadcast the stuff that's in here to other apes, and that's how it is. And when you have a device like this, it's just
tempting.
makes it that much easier to do so.
Right. I had another question about. I guess what was one of the first warm ups that you remember that it was before you obviously became big that you warm up to someone that was huge?
Yeah, David Guetta. I'm not
Really?
even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
No way,
Not
really?
expecting that one.
That's
This was in
big,
in a
man.
club in Washington D.C. Called Glow,
Oh yeah,
which
it
took
still
place at
exists,
this.
yeah.
Still open right now?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
they are
haven't-
actually.
Are they?
Yeah, they do. They did a lot of trance events too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I heard.
And they booked David Guetta, and I opened for him, and you know, it's my only interaction with this guy. He's huge. At that point, you know, Pleasurekraft didn't even exist as a name. I was just a local resident DJ.
Oh, okay.
And he took the time to come up to me, shake my hand, and say, I really love what you're playing. I mean, you know, I don't care what underground, you know, snobs
Right.
have to say about this guy. On a human level,
Right.
it was just, you could not ask for more as someone who's trying to go like this, and someone who's like, yeah, different genre,
Right.
very commercial, but still, as a you know, his position in the industry, to take the time to do that.
Take
And
the
if he
time.
did that,
Yeah.
to do that if he took the time to do that for me, I can only assume that's just his character and what he does with others. And, you know, whether you like his music or not, it doesn't matter. That's a very genuine, sincere act to you know, do for any human.
Right. That's crazy.
And I always try to, you know, have some sort of interaction with any DJ that plays
That was
before
warming up
me.
before you.
Because it's just, you know, important. And you never know what kind of food that is for their upward trajectory, you know?
That's so true.
For sure. How about yours? What was your first one that you remember?
I think my first big one was
Yeah,
where was
Paris?
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that just took off as
Dang.
well. But yeah, she
I'm gonna
filled it.
take a wild guess that she did not come up to you.
I was not going to say that, but that's correct. In fact, she had security like take us all off the stage.
Really?
Yep.
So she could be escorted off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you have the difference between the
So
different
music
personalities
doesn't
you meet.
really,
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
completely separate from the person.
Yeah, well, I guess I can say because I don't really do any more events. But she maybe it's not an attitude, but I guess that's the way she carries herself. You know, it's more.
Everyone's different.
You never
Right.
know, because at the same time, it's like I think back then and I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Me
That's why I
too.
thought
I'm
about it.
always
You
like
know,
that, yeah.
I'm like, maybe it's because her English at the time was, I don't know how it is now. It wasn't quite as fluent. Maybe she didn't feel secure. You know, oh well, it's Mexico, so it's Spanish. But like, you know, it's or maybe she's just maybe an incident happened before, like a safety incident.
Right.
You never know, but.
You're giving too much benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I always do that because, you know.
Except when it comes to herself, then she's like her own worst critic. But yeah, we all are. Yeah.
Self-deprecation makes the world go round.
Damn. So I have something that I guess copycat from another pod that we do something called Instagram dive in. So I grab pictures from yours. So we're gonna show it in here, and then we just get a context.
Okay.
If that works.
Sure.
Now, is this like something we've posted ourselves or something we've been tagged in?
No, you post it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and then you post it too.
Okay.
Thank you want to
God.
roll it
Yeah.
in, brother? All right. So, Shay, can we get context on this one?
This is at Sextasy, the beginning of this year, in a random warehouse downtown
Here in LA?
here in LA. I'm
Were you,
playing with my arm up. Yeah, it was like a cage that they had
Really?
us in like animals.
No way.
Which was actually really triggering something in me that I didn't realize exist. It was like, what if there's like the whole time during my set, I was obviously enjoying it, as you could tell.
Thinking about like fire
I was
escape.
thinking like a fire escape and everything. I was like, everyone is surrounding this thing. I'm gonna be the last one to get out of here, but you can't tell a lot from the photo, of course.
Locked in.
All right, you want to swap to the other one? To
Curious.
Yeah,
right.
the girl
does
to the
that say?
right.
What is
The
that
girl to
saying?
the right.
Yeah.
I
What-
have
is
tried
that paint?
deciphering that.
Is it embodiment?
Oh,
Hello.
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 that's at my old house, actually not too far from here on Wilshire. That's Wilshire also.
You're just too
Really?
cool, man.
Yeah,
You're too cool.
That
That
was
song
one
is
of like
too-
500 shots that I actually liked.
Really?
And I remember I was trying to promote my release on Factory 93, and I was like, oh God, I have to take another photo.
So you
That's
send out like the picture to along with the track, or how does that work?
I'm sorry?
Wait, when you send out that picture
Oh,
to...
sorry. Usually when you have a release, the record label is like, okay, this is our release plan, our marketing plan, and so we're gonna announce this on this date, and then because of the algorithm likes faces, so.
Is that really a thing? It likes faces?
It likes...
Oh, no
Really?
wonder I don't get it.
Or it likes other parts of the body too, but I don't post those.
Oh, right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, or maybe it's just like human nature that we like connecting with another human, even if it's through a screen. But I can tell you that I could post anything that didn't have my face in it, and it would get like 1/10 of the engagement that a stupid selfie gets.
Versus this one, yeah.
Yeah, that's just...
What do you think is about techno girls versus techno guys? Do they get more...
Well, I don't perform my shirt off. I mean, there are a lot of subgenres of techno, you know what I mean? Like, hard techno has completely gone off the rails, I think.
Right.
I'm not saying that's bad. It's just like a free-for-all. I mean, like, they're just doing a lot more than playing during their sets. And that's not necessarily like a bad thing, because it's like, what do the ticket buyers want? They want to be entertained, and that's what they're doing. So you know what you're going to get when you buy these tickets, and that's, again, I don't find that a bad thing. I don't play or produce hard techno like that, but there are some songs that I like. But as opposed to like techno girls versus techno guys, sorry, what do you mean by that?
Like I guess it's a promoter that feel like they get more books than the
I
guys.
see.
Just because it's a girl.
I see. I feel like maybe from 2017 to 2020, I saw, and I guess, again, I'm biased because I'm a girl. I feel like, it was definitely a thing where I was certain I was booked just because of my gender. Because the promoters clearly knew nothing about me, knew nothing about my music. They would ask me to play different genres. So it's like, okay, you're literally just booking me. That's the only thing I can assume, right? But nowadays, I don't know. It's such a thing where it's like, you just get booked because you're a woman or whatever. And it's like, you don't see all of the shit that I am dealing with behind the scenes.
Right.
Obviously, you're assuming because you're already like projecting something on me. And I think a lot of people do that, not just to women, just to anyone. Like, oh, this guy got this gig because he's rich and he could invest in marketing or whatever. Like, you can do it to anything. And I think it's just a way for people to like be okay with where they are. Maybe they're not happy with where they are. I don't know. I feel like I'm going a little too much into this. But basically, I think now there's not much of a difference. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be completely naive.
I think so. Back in the day, it feel like more girls were get more booked back. Now, I guess it's even a little bit more.
There are like a lot of women, and it seems like every female DJ is going into techno for whatever reason. But again, I could just think that, and it could not be accurate.
What do you think? There's more.
I think you should change your name to Shay De Castro.
Shade. A lot of people call me Shady because they think the does part of my name. They're like Shady. I'm like, Shady. That's true. Could be Shady.
You want to roll the other one, brother? Let's see.
I thought it was cliche.
That was the old one. This one.
Oh, that's 6 a.m. actually. One of the No Phones events actually. I was opening for Enrico San Giuliano.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And that was a great show. I mean, like I said, no phones, so everyone. And at 6 a.m., I think that their events are really good in general. Like they have a strong community around them, and you see a lot of the same faces. And
what's his name? Gia, right? The main guy.
Gia and Marco.
Yeah. And Marco, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. I remember I met him really through Instagram, or not Instagram, through Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Because we put I'm not sure what we were doing for I Hate Models, but I know we were something to do with Visa.
Oh, okay.
And then they sent out some paper, and I called Gia, and I was like, man, what's your phone number? They're asking all these questions, and they want me to sign this. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, sign it up there. And I'm like, send it, and then, a few months later, I Hate Models came in and play.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the only way I know him. And then I was I guess trying to manage artists too as well, and then talk to his I guess a lawyer that he has for like the for to get visas.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really get going with the thing. It was just too much. Sometimes I
Yeah,
put too
I
much on
can
my plate,
imagine.
and
With
I'm like,
events also, that's
yeah,
a
it's too
lot.
much. All right, so you want to roll to now on his to see his pictures.
Oh, I'm excited.
It was hard because it was most of your pictures were only like artwork, really.
Yeah.
So I went dig down. So I went all the way down.
I think that's BPM Festival.
Right.
Back when it. I'll be nice.
Mexico.
Back
yeah.
when it used to be in Playa del Carmen, and
Right.
it still had techno and stuff.
Right.
I think this is probably 2017, no, maybe 2016, 2017, something like that. Just at that point in time, there was a window of time where BPM Festival I thought was by far just the greatest festival on the planet. I
Right.
mean, you go there 7 days, 10 days, and you have all these incredible intimate venues. You go see Carl Cox in a venue like this. Like, who can say
That's
that?
so cool.
Right.
You're going to go see him with 10,000 people or, 300 people in a room like this.
Right.
And it wasn't really this bright in the room. The picture was just caught at a moment when all the lights went on, like for a brief instant.
Right.
But yeah, it's just.
This is that was
That's
I
awesome.
think you posted it was La Santanera
Oh,
or
yeah, La
something like that.
Santanera.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
this play, and it said that I'm happy to come back and play at the Santanera or something
That was
like that. It's post-
probably the last year of
Of the
BPM
place.
in Mexico.
Want to roll another one, brother?
Is that also there?
That is also there. That's probably
that's
right,
Loving the
like
hair.
a few blocks from there where I was staying, and
You remember
yeah,
what
it
you
was
were
a nice-
what
it
were
was
you
a
thinking of that?
nice windy day. I think this was literally the day where I decided that Kraftek was gonna be a full-on techno label and gonna like this was I think. Trying to remember exactly which month BPM was then. But I remember that following January was going to be the first release that was going to start the new chapter of Cosmic Techno. And that was a track called Rigel.
Okay.
Oh,
That
Nice.
will always have a special place in my heart, that track of ours, just because it kind of kicked off what Cosmic Techno was going to stand for. And I was just kind of done with dealing with the different personalities in techno music
Right.
who, run big labels and, they're kind of gatekeepers. And it's just like, why can't I do this myself?
My own label. Right.
Of course, you're not going to get the same amount of attention as these massive, established brands. But at the same time, you're not sacrificing anything as far as control goes over your art, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So yeah, that was.
Oh.
You got the other one. I do have a question after
It
we
was
look at the
quite
next
windy.
picture. Right. It looks like.
Yeah. That was in France, maybe Toulouse or something. I think. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe saying "more champagne." No, I'm kidding.
No, you had an
yeah.
expression there. I forgot what you put in there, but you say, "This is my face when I'm asking something."
Yeah, I was probably either asking like a technical issue or like, hey,
Can I get a drink?
can I get a bottle of water or something? Yeah, I'm not a big like partier or drinker.
Right.
Especially now. I mean, maybe we'll have one drink when I play. But yeah, I was probably trying to get the stage manager's attention.
Right. I guess going back to the where you were saying on the how hard is that to make your own label?
How hard is it to make a label?
Is it
Not difficult at all. You
just-
can do it tonight within 1 hour.
You just gotta maintain it and then make sure you
Yeah,
get it.
to run the label,
Right.
to run it effectively, and in a day and age where, everything is about marketing and social media, and if you don't have a natural inclination towards that and towards putting yourself out there like that, whether it's a label or being an upcoming artist, it's going to be difficult. Whenever I read interviews with big DJs and producers and they say, you just work hard and focus on the music, and it's just, if you have the talent, you'll make it. I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
And what I can't decide or figure out is They really believe this themselves. If you have the talent, you'll make it. Innovation